Hello, I'm Average Joe, welcome back to the world, and look how sunny it is, look how bright it is, we aren't in a dark cave anymore, isn't it just great? So bright, so sunny. Anyways, I've put this video off for about 2 weeks now. I'm very much running out of time to get started on this, so I just kind of started this now, just to get it started. You may notice that things look a little different out here. It used to be that there was a much larger hill out here. There was definitely a lot more trees. Definitely didn't look so astroturfed. But, I am out here because the next thing I want to build is a farm. There is a little character I've had in my head for this little town that I've been trying to build, and I want to make her a farm. Now, I've cleared out a space. I don't think it's the best space for setting up a farm. It doesn't seem to be, like, quite enough space. But you know what? That's perfectly fine. I can modify this a little bit more later. So I've also added this little path that kind of winds its way around the hill and reaches this point over here, which I think I'm going to turn into maybe a little campground, maybe like a little village, separate from the rest of the town that's going to be out that way, which I am purposely avoiding, kind of. Anyways, the first thing I want to do out here is build the farmhouse. Now, Leaf is based off of a character I kind of made up in Stardew Valley when I was playing it for the first time in a while. And essentially, the story was, instead of Leaf kind of inheriting the farm from her grandfather, she's just kind of a nature spirit who takes care of the farm, and I'm going to carry that over to here. There will still be a house kind of in this gap here, but I want to make a giant kind of twisting cherry tree, and the house was kind of built around it. I have an idea in my head, I just need to actually get started and do that. So get started I did. The first thing I did was build the trunk of the tree, which, on accident, came out pretty good and thick. After I remembered how my brush worked, I then made the spiraling trunks that are supposed to come out of the central one. Originally, I wanted these two trunks to be touching so that they kind of spiraled together and it was one single twisting trunk, but now that it's done, I kind of like them being separate. After that, I made some small branches peeking out from the main trunk, and I borrowed a building technique from B00100 and used some fences in the tree. I think it helps build the shape of the tree and gives it a rougher look that full blocks can't give, but I'm not going to use trapdoors since I know how players can be with flipping them around, which is ironic considering some of the things I have built and will build in this video. Then I added leaves to the tree, putting little tufts on the smaller branches and building a big canopy on top. Now, I know that in real life trees mostly don't work like this. In real life, trees have more of a gradient of leaves, with more leaves being on the outside than are on the inside. But this is Minecraft, and I like how it looks, so it's fine. I kind of like how this came out. It does feel a bit noisy, and oh, hi. Hold on, I have a cat. Skittles. Aw, big girl. Come on. Come on. And where was I? Right, yeah, so I do like this tree. Feels a bit of a shame to cover it up with a building. I guess I could try and make a smaller house here, and just have a path that leads out to the farm. But I don't know, I had kind of wanted to use the tree as like a staircase Because if I did make the house around the tree, that's gonna be a pretty big house, and I don't think I want to do that. Alright, so yeah, let's just make a small cottage on this little section here. And there can just be a path around the tree to get to the farm. That sounds good. It needs to fit entirely in here. Yeah, hang on a second. Alright, so shape. Usually when I'm planning out a building, in survival at the very least, I kind of take the shape of the land around it and try and fit the building into it. This might be a little bit tricky just because of the shape of the hill. Because otherwise it's going to kind of lean over that spot, which isn't necessarily a problem. Next is height. We are pretty close to the tree here, so I might want to pull it back by one. Obviously, if I am continuing with the story of Leaf being a nature spirit, then it should be closer to the tree. But for now, we're just going to build it as if she is not. I'm thinking a short section here and a taller section in back. And maybe bringing this in just a little bit. It feels like it's sticking out just a little bit too far. You know, that looks alright, but I kind of want there to be like a balcony off the side too, maybe a deck? Or alternatively, maybe like a porch. Maybe we could have like a porch that takes up a small portion of this side. Or, because I kind of want it to be over this side. I want there to be something here. Maybe the porch can be like stands out here. Or maybe this could be like a little deck, and there could be maybe a staircase that leads down. Because I want there to also be like a little tiny sailboat down here. How does this stand? Give me just a wall. Give me a black wall. Okay, alright, yeah. So where would the staircase go? I don't want to take those trees down, and I don't want to mess around with this too much. In fact, this may be getting close. How high up can I go with this? If I go up 4, that'll be about even with this. And if I want it to go at an incline, that's probably not the best thing in the world. Maybe I can just bring this up by a couple blocks. Yeah, alright, we can live with that. Bring this down by 1. Have it kind of go 1, 2, and then 1, 2, and then 1, 2, and 1, 2. Yeah, I'm liking that. Alright, let's see how it looks on the other side. Nice. Good. I'm liking this. Alright, alright. I'm thinking maybe a fence along here, or some kind of guardrail. We could have... I'm thinking... So this would obviously be the front door, right? Well, I guess we could have it come around this side, although the walkway would be awfully tight towards that. Yeah, let's just have the entrance be here. Then this could be the entrance into the deck, and maybe just have something here. That could be like a little, just a little path down. Back it up by 1, bring it up. Terraform just a little bit. Make sure that the stairs get to the bottom and that there's enough room to turn around. Then this could be where the boat sits. I'm thinking just a nice, simple little sailboat. And would the boat actually be able to get out from here? I would have to widen this just a little bit, depending on how big the boat is. I think that could work. I definitely like the shape of this building. I do feel like something more needs to be done underneath here, just for the support of the structure. So maybe like something to do with the walls? I don't know. Definitely can't do it on the other side, just because of how the stairs are. But maybe if we move the stairs inside, that would be a better option. That would be where the stairs end. We could cut out some of that. Yeah! Yeah, that looks pretty good. I think I can live with that. Might try and do something unique with the roof. I usually try and go for things that kind of look like that, although a bit simpler than that. And since this is going to be a smaller building, the scale of it does matter. This is very much not exactly... It's not quite the same size as the recycling plant here. Yeah, okay, I think I can work with this. Just need to figure out what colors I want to do. I'm tempted to go with something similar to what we did here, with like the white and the red and the black all together. Although that's more brown than black. Maybe lean more towards pink. How does that look? Okay, I've picked out all of the blocks I think I could potentially use. And looking at it, there's at least one that I flat out don't want to use. The melon feels too textured for this. I think I do want to use bamboo in this, and potentially the dried kelp block. The dried kelp block is pretty dark compared to everything else, so I think it might be a good accent. I know I at least want to use the pale oak blocks in this, and possibly the mushroom stem. I think it goes well with these three, especially for the idea that I'm working with. I did think about using snow, but it feels just too bright and too blue for this. I don't think it works very well. A different kind of build maybe, but I want this build to feel very warm. So having yellow and pinkish colors in this build is ideal, because yellow and red are warmer colors, and while this and this tend to lean cooler because they use green, I think the yellowness of this kind of makes up for it, and the pink of this would also make up for it. And that brings us to accent. Red is a warmer color, yes, and there are a couple things here I was thinking of using for accents. Ultimately, I might just use the mud brick stairs, but I don't know. How does just the straight bamboo planks in that look with all of this? Too yellow? Yeah, that might be a bit too yellow. Maybe I should just do a little test build with it to see how it looks. It's not bad. I really don't like the color of the pillars on the side, though. I feel like they stand out too much. No. No, I don't think so. Too dollhouse. Better. Definitely better. Maybe have a different color. Maybe have brown be the outside, but a different color be on the inside. That gives me an idea, though. Don't know if I'll go through with it, but maybe actually have, like, plants growing on top of them. I don't know, I saw one of the hermits do it in a video. To be honest, I don't know how I feel about just having full blocks as the roof. It worked over there, because I didn't use the stairs along the side, and it didn't stand out so much when I did it like that. That doesn't help. That just feels way too thick, but it's closer. That's not bad, actually. In fact, it looks really cool. Is this... no, I think I like the other one better. What about this? And then... No, yeah, I like that. I don't like how these just stop before the roof, but I can't really do anything about that without making the roof look weird. Oh, but it does look better. No, I think I'd best just go with this. Yeah, okay. So what is my build palette here? We've got cherry, we've got planks for the pale oak, we've got this, we've got that, we've got some of these. Yeah, alright, cool. So I have done, it's been a day or two, I've done a bit more work on Leaf's house. I decided to put some trees around the sides to cover up the house a little bit. Don't get me wrong, I like how it looks, but it's not as detailed or as, like, eye-catching as this is. And in fact, from the back of this, it's not as particularly interesting as the front. It is definitely more interesting than just flat wall with a bit of texturing, but yeah. So I've worked on just hiding some of the perspectives of the house. You can still see it from here, but eventually there will be a boat here. As you are walking up, so from the bridge, you actually can't see the house too well. It's only after you get up here and start walking down this path do you start to actually see some of it. And when you get all the way down here, you can start to see the house peeking out from the side, and it's not until you actually get up close that you kind of get a full view of it. I think this is fine. It is kind of a consequence of where I built the house and kind of having to skip the intention of building it around this tree and also still wanting the tree. I've done a little bit more detailing on the front here because I figured it was a little flat. I do have one issue with these shelves though, and it's that you can't lock them. So anyone can just put anything in there and then take them out, and I think that's an issue, but what can you do? Anyways, I have worked on the interior, and I think basically completed it. I wanted the interior of this house to feel like someone who is just obsessed with being outside so much that they kind of brought in outside inside a little bit. There are trees growing, there's a log being used as like table. I think there's a specific word for it, but I can't think of it. I did put like a little closet for clothes here. There's a little desk. In the kitchen, it's a lot cleaner, but I did put like a tool rack, an oven, a double wide freezer, and bundles of potatoes and carrots. And 2 placements. Continuing on the first floor we do have the patio with some seating, and that's it. All of my house builds are kind of based around buildings in the town I live, not in, but close to. So you have a lot of just not highly decorated, more practical looking buildings than anything. And my grandparents actually had one of these like enclosed patios on the backside of their house. And it was just used for storage. Like, don't get me wrong, there were chairs and, like, seating out there, but most of it was just junk that they didn't want in the house. And there is an exit here to go down to the boat for when I eventually build the boat. But for now, it really is just this. I also tried to enclose this because I realized if this was like a real life thing, then the netting would be to try and keep bugs out. And if you just had this open, like it wasn't enclosed at all, you'd get so many bugs in here, and I personally would hate that. I despise it. Continuing on to the second floor hallway, there is less decoration up here. But there is, in fact, a couple lamps and a little plant growing up here. There is a storage room with chests that are locked and some extra funds. And then there is the bedroom. I basically just put more plants in, a couple dressers for the occupants of the house, and yeah, some decoration up the front so that when you're lying in bed you have something to look at until you fall asleep. I don't know if people actually do that. Personally, I just lay face down on the bed until I fall asleep. But that is Leaf's house. There is one more thing, though. And I have an idea what I want to do with it, but I haven't worked on it yet. And it is up the tree. Now, you may have noticed that there is, in fact, a chimney to Leaf's house, but there wasn't a fireplace on the inside, and that is because this is an entrance to a secret area. I'm thinking gambling. So I said earlier that I based Leaf off of an old roleplay character concept from Stardew Valley I was using. In practice, I've only borrowed a few of her surface level characteristics. In this game, Leaf is a farmer that lives on a small generational farm on the outskirts of Cherryville, which is what I've decided to call the town just now. Let me know what you think in the comments. She doesn't get many guests, and many residents of Cherryville aren't even aware the farm is still operational. Still, she provides a regular supply of food to the town through small donations, farmers market sales, and dealings with the local grocery store. Lately, though, a man by the name of Peyton Dreer has been coming to her house and trying to buy her farm. Leaf doesn't want to sell it, of course. The farm's been in her family for like 3 generations, and she really enjoys doing the work. But Dreer is relentless, showing up 3 or 4 times a week, interrupting her when she's working, and saying things like, "No one needs this farm anymore, we have a store to get food from, and this is the greatest deal you could get, you don't want to miss out, do you?" In their most recent meeting, Leaf called the police on Dreer for trespassing, though Dreer kept harassing Leaf, so the police ended up arresting him after he got a black eye. Regardless of her interactions with Dreer, though, Leaf is meant to be a ray of sunshine for everyone who meets her. The organizers of the farmers market are always happy to have her smiling face at one of the stalls. There's a soup kitchen that she donates her time and crops to, and while not everyone in town knows she runs the farm, everyone knows the friendly lady with green hair that occasionally goes around town with the lady from the recycling center. Alright, it's been about a day, and this is everything put together. I have set it up so that you can actually spin the slot wheel and it will give you things in return. And I have also set it up because, you can't take the items out of it. Anyways, let me just demonstrate the slot machine really quick. To start with, you need to make sure you have a block of emerald, which you can actually win by winning a board. Then you just go up to this machine and you press a button. Now, there are cherry saplings, bells, and sevens. And if you get 3 of a kind in a row, you win a prize based on what the symbol is. For cherry saplings, you get, let me double check. Cherry saplings, you get 2 emerald blocks. Bells give you 3, and sevens give you 5. Now, interestingly, I lose this more often than I win it. And I'm not sure the best way to fix that, or if I even should fix that. Because as it stands right now, I'm not 100% sure what the purpose of the slot machine is, other than just to fill the space here. Also, as a note, you can't click the button again once you've started spinning. Yeah, I don't know why I did this. Emeralds themselves don't even have a function yet. I need to build a store. So, yeah, that was an interesting sidetrack, but definitely enjoyed putting it together. There's only one thing left to do, and that is to put together the... Oh, hang on, phone's ringing. Okay, lost my train of thought there. But next thing to do is to make the actual fields, maybe some pens to hold animals. The main thing being grown at this farm is carrots. This is basically the place where golden carrots are made in this village. So we're going to need a couple strips of carrots, maybe some way to get gold, and probably some cows. Because every farm needs, like, cows or some kind of cattle, you know? Well, I'm gonna be honest, you guys, I think that's all I'm gonna be able to do this month. I started this late, I'm working through a very annoying headache today, and yeah, I just don't think I'm gonna get much more done than this. Don't get me wrong, I'm happy with the progress I've made. I've got these, fields and the cow farm set up, and I did basically the entirety of Leaf's house. But, I'm just... this month has not been a good month. Honestly, after I finished the manor, I've been running low on, motivation. I've been running low on motivation for this. And I think that's just because I finished a very large part of it. I probably should have taken a month off. But, you know, it's been a year since I started. Hello, happy anniversary to this series. And I figured I should do something, even if it's maybe just a little underwhelming. But, you know, I think Leaf's house, the tree, the farms out here, everything came out pretty good. I am happy with everything that is here. So yeah, I guess if you liked the video, leave a like. If you have any suggestions for future boards or things to do in the hub world, let me know. And yeah, I guess that'll be it. So, take care, and remember, I know that it is tempting to look for community in like-minded people, but never lose sight of who you are as an individual. For me. Please.